Greetings and salutations, comic book conversationalists. This is Comic Book Hangover. My name is Scott, and here we go with 2 weeks worth of a comic book haul. May not be so much in the way of reviews this week, but we're definitely going to be going through 2 weeks worth of books, plus a trade paperback, graphic novel, whatever you want to call it, that I picked up. But first and foremost, this week's poster is the Dazzler #1 facsimile edition poster. I love this one. It's one of my favorite covers. Can't tell you exactly why. She's not really a character that I really pay a whole lot of attention to, but I've always liked this cover for whatever reason. It's just one of those unexplainable things. So let's just get into the books that I picked up. These are the books I picked up a couple of weeks ago. Not this week, last week. So these are last week's books. I grabbed Transformers #10. I grabbed, this is cover B. I believe this is cover B. I don't know. I don't think they have it on the cover. But Beachcomber, it's kind of really surprised to see Beachcomber in this series, but he seems to be taking the place of Bumblebee on that. And in this one here, you really see the depths of depravity that Shockwave is willing to go to in order to achieve his goals, especially when he's slaughtering blue whale, multiple blue whales, just to fuel a machine that he's using to get Cybertron. But that was a really nasty part of the book. Shockwave is really sick and twisted and sadistic in this series, but Beachcomber taking the place apparently of Bumblebee, which I'm okay with, because Beachcomber, I think he may have had one episode, maybe 2 episodes appearances in the G1 series. So it's kind of cool to see this one getting him getting an expansion there. The other one I picked up was Giant Size Silver Surfer. I grabbed the variant cover. I didn't really care for the main cover, so I grabbed this one here. Haven't had a chance to read it yet. I know it's been out for a couple of weeks. Actually, this is the second week that it's been out. Haven't had a chance to read it yet. It's been really, really busy, but I grabbed that cover for it. Kind of reminds me of the old school Silver Surfer series from the 90s and the way the covers were set up back on some of those issues there. So I really like that cover. In the facsimile edition portion, from DC, I have Tales of the Teen Titans #44. It's part of the is it the Judas contract? It seems like they did another one that's part of this Judas contract too. I gotta look into that. But maybe they're going to end up reprinting that entire storyline, in which case I'll be able to actually read it. So there's that one. And Deadpool #1. This is from the 1997 series. This was back when Deadpool was still legitimately entertaining and was not an overrated character. He was still very much fun. This is the Joe Kelly written series. This is the definitive Deadpool run. This was the series that established who and what Deadpool is, and I really enjoyed it. I read, I think, the first 2 years of the series, but then they get into this whole Messiah complex storyline, and that just kind of derailed everything for me. But this was one of my favorite Deadpool books, and like I said, this was before he became an overrated, overused character. It's before there was all basically, oh look, he's saying the F word, so that makes him a funny character like he is now. Now, this is back when he was legitimately funny, legitimately entertaining. I do recommend this one, especially if you're a newer Deadpool fan and you haven't read any of the older stuff. Definitely check this one out. It's a lot of fun. So those are the books that I picked up last week. This week, I grabbed CBS Spider-Man 2099 #5. I think this one came out last week or the week before, and somehow I missed it. So this wraps up this storyline and kind of wraps up my time in the 2099 universe. They're doing this Annihilation 2099 thing that I don't know. I love Annihilation, the Annihilation and Annihilation Conquest storylines, events, crossovers, whatever you want to call them. I really enjoyed those, and to me, those are the last really good events that Marvel did. When I saw they were doing Annihilation 2099, I sort of thought that maybe we're going to get this, sort of similar thing, but instead we get Wolverine as a Nova, and that just derails the whole thing for me. So I'm not grabbing that. This, for the time being, is going to be the last of the 2099 books that I'm picking up. So CBS Spider-Man 2099 #5. I also grabbed Destro #2. This is the main cover. Not much more to say about that other than this is the main cover. And then we have, from the facsimile edition portion of my pull list, Crisis on Infinite Earths #4 of 12. I am really enjoying reading this. I'm actually, I'm enjoying reading both Secret Wars and Crisis. I think I'm enjoying Crisis a little bit more than Secret Wars, because I'm really eager to read these. Whereas Secret Wars, I'm like, okay, I'll read that because I got nothing else to read. And then the last regular comic book I picked up, Amazing Spider-Man Facsimile Edition, number 258. Now, I do have the original for this. I believe I have the original for this one, but I'm big onto these Facsimile Edition reprints, so I got to grab that one. And then in the trade paperback part, I grabbed Weird Fantasy EC Archives, Weird Fantasy Volume 4, which I believe is going to wrap this one up. This one here, you've got the last 4 issues of Weird Fantasy. And what happened was they had Weird Fantasy and Weird Science, and they wound up wrapping up and sort of consolidating those 2 titles. So instead of having Weird Fantasy and Weird Science, they changed it to Weird Science Fantasy. So this volume here, we have the last 4 issues of Weird Fantasy and issues 25 and 26 a Weird Science Fantasy. Now we're going to get Weird Science Volume 4, and that will have issues 23 and 24 of Science Fantasy in there. So that's that. And I believe this wraps up this run of Weird Fantasy trade paperback EC Archives reprints. We have, I think, 1 more volume for Vault of Horror, and that wraps that up with 5 volumes. And then, so we're nearing the end of these EC Archive reprints. And I'm proud to say, I have to say, I think I'm only missing 1. I think the only one that I'm missing is Vault of Horror Volume 2. Somehow came out and I missed it, and it's been kind of a challenge to get it. But I will get it once I get that one, and these are done. I'll have all of them. I have all the ECs in a reprint form, and I'm super excited about having that. Now, as far as like cover of the week goes, really, there's no cover that kind of really stood out to me this week that would be a cover of the week book. Probably the closest would be this one here. And this one came out last week. This would be Transformers number 10. But I can't really say it's cover of the week because, like I said, there's really no books really this week or last week or the week before really had any covers that really stood out, that I would consider a cover of the week. So I guess I won't be doing those every week, only when a cover actually stands out to me. So that said, we're going to wrap this up. Now, I will be having, I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, I will be having a Marvelous box. There's an announcement to go with the Marvelous box, and I guess, actually, I'm going to wait until I get that box and then make the announcement. And also, we're on week 3 of No Godzilla Comics, so I'm going to be wearing, I have to wear a Godzilla shirt. I got this one actually from Walmart. It's pretty cool. It's got the original Godzilla 54 poster image on there, so I really like that. My wife found it and picked it up for me, so it's awesome. But that said, we're going to wrap this up. Hopefully the next week or 2, I will have a Marvelous box to go through. And I think I've got some books from CodyCon that I still got to pick up. So I think I have 5 books from CodyCon that I'm going to be sharing as well. And then, of course, the usual new releases each and every week. I didn't do one last week because I only got 4 books, and 2 of those were reprints, so I didn't figure as much to talk about. So I doubled it up this week, so I didn't have a video last week. So that said, everybody, thanks for watching. Of course, like, comment, subscribe, share, blah, 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 blah. And we will see everybody next week with another weekly haul video. See ya. Have a great weekend.